right, welcome back. I'm live at 12:30 a.m. my time for the first time in a long time. I haven't gone live at this time, especially on a Friday night, in at least a year, I would say. I think I did it randomly, maybe not long ago, but it's been a while. And it's Friday night, so a lot of people might come in from the club or from whatever you do, shopping mall, whatever, on Friday. So hopefully we can get some people in here. It's very random stream, very short notification, but we're in here. Shout out to everybody in the house so far. I see you, Mr. Charles D. Curry, Ashar in the house. Shawnee Mac, Strawberry Blitzen. All right, Nikki Vaughn. Shout out to Tara Mott. Punk Rock Nor. All right. All the new faces and the OGs. I want to deal with this virtue signaling among these dog lovers that we've all seen, we've all are familiar with. When they find a person or see a person who abuses a dog, they project themselves as the good dog owner, like, hey, look, that person beats their dog, they abuse dogs, I don't do that. So I raise healthy, safe dogs, and my dogs are safe for the neighborhood. You know that I don't know if virtue signaling is the right way to describe it, but it's the closest thing I could come up with. And a lot of people are deceived by this without even saying it. They assume that the person who raises the dog with love and kisses and compassion, reward only, never punish, they project this idea that they are owners of safe, family-friendly dogs. When they're not, the only difference is the people who raise their dog with love are more likely to be attacked by that dog. That's the only difference. That dog will still attack other dogs and other people. But because you don't use physical violence, it's highly likely to attack you as well. Whereas the people who punish and use physical discipline, which is the only thing that dogs understand, they are simply less likely to be attacked themselves. That dumb dog will still attack other dogs and other people. Oh, this is so sad that the everyday people of the world have to talk about this stuff. And the experts, the so-called experts, are not talking about it. That's very sad. But we're here, we're dealing with it, so let's get on with it.
A Waldron man is facing animal cruelty charges here in Hillsdale County after videos began circulating on social media that appear to be him beating his dogs. Now, we want to show you these videos because we think it's an important part of the story, but we do want to warn you, these may be disturbing to watch.
From all the way over there, you could hear it clear as day in here.
These videos.
Okay, now I'm not going to show the video. But on this video, he is slapping this dog around. He's just literally slapping it with an open hand. Okay? He picks it up by the collar, he drags it, he'll throw it, toss it. And it seemed like he tossed it twice. A lot of people, especially owners of bully breeds, they use this type of discipline. This is what Caesar reinforced. He didn't reinforce it overtly, but he did. That is what Caesar was about. His whole series was to establish and emphasize the fact that the only thing dogs truly understand is intimidation and physical violence. That goofy karate chop that Caesar chops, he stabs dogs in the neck like this weird karate chop. That's the form of violence. That's the form of intimidation. It's a sort of a way to duplicate aggression, because that's what dogs do to each other when they want to establish rank. They bite and nip at each other. Bite. That's why he sticks them. He pokes them, to duplicate a tooth. Now, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this is a popular way of dealing with dogs and training them. But they want to play dumb as if they don't understand why there are people like this. But notice, people like this guy, he's rarely the one who gets attacked by his dogs. These type of guys, and this is just based on me covering these stories. Usually when these type of guys, when their dog attacks someone, it's not them. It's someone else's child. Okay, and that's the only difference. Which means no matter who raises the dog, it's still dangerous and inappropriate to be in our territory, to be inside of our homes, and it breaks the law inside of many of these homes.
Fence, and there's a
sorry about that.
Wire fence right there that he took the little white dog.
Oh, what? Okay, so yeah, now he has a different dog now. He open hand slapped a different dog. It's like a dark brown dog. Now he has a white dog. And this backyard is just full of dogs. Oh, his grass is dead. It must smell horrible. Horrible. Dogs everywhere. I couldn't even count the number of dogs that I saw. So he takes this white dog and he tosses it across the pond somewhere. And then out of nowhere, he grabs the brown dog again. Right? And then the scene, it comes in and the dog is like flying through the air. Right? He's beating it, he's slapping it, he's punching it, he's kicking it, he's throwing it. And then hold up.
My heart.
She's she's just talking now. Oh, it broke my heart. Now here's the scene that I was referring to. As soon as it starts, all you see is a dog fly from behind this tree through the air, land, and then it takes off running. All right, I have to skip that because it could I could get in trouble.
Responded to Wilson's address the same day. Records
Sorry about that.
show Wilson admitted to, quote, striking his dog, but told the trooper he was disciplining his dog for running away. Meanwhile, those videos continued to spread, eventually reaching Amanda Ringler.
It just killed me. Quite literally, I was probably sobbing for an hour.
She then stepped in to try to stop the alleged abuse.
The very next day that I saw the video, someone had posted that the owners were willing to surrender the dogs.
In late February, Amanda drove to pick up 4 of the dogs to give them a new home. But when she got there, law enforcement told her the dogs would be placed at the Branch County Humane Society.
Okay. You get the point. This is what wait a minute. Let me make sure my mic is on. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You see what I mean? How they sort of project this idea that, hey, I'm the good dog owner. I'm the person who's good for the community. A person like me who raises dogs with love. I'm a safe addition to the community. No, you're not. No, you're not. Your dogs are the most dangerous because now they're more likely to attack you because they don't see you as the alpha. When that's the case, they assume the position. So they're more likely to lash out at other people. Other people. You know, you somewhat, and I'm sure it's minimal, you somewhat instill maybe a tolerance into the dog of people or respect for people when you yourself slap it around nonstop. But it still doesn't create a harmless dog. Several of the people whose dogs attack other people and other people's kids, you could tell these men use discipline with these dogs. There is no way possible that none of the owners of these dogs slap these dogs around. This is too common. This is all I've seen, especially when people own bully breeds. They all use, and if you talk to them, they all say it, that you have to be stern. They give little hints. They speak in code language. They'll say, hey, you have to be stern with these dogs. You have to show them who's the leader. You have to be a strong, that's code language for slap them around when they start to act up. That's code language, people. Let's not play dumb. And that is why you have so many videos of dogs getting slapped around. So they're up here showing this mutt eating some ice cream, trying to babyfy this thing, showing photos like this, trying to project it as an infant. They are always trying to equate dogs with human infants, which is beyond sick. And this is such a crazy part of the world. Like, you people are actually willing to execute yourselves for dogs. The craziest thing in the world. Even if you're willing to allow these things to wipe you clean off the face of the earth when they're not doing nothing for you, not giving you anything but things that could potentially wipe you clean from the face of the earth. Via attacks, and attacks is synonymous with contracting the diseases, bacteria. You always get deposited with bacteria when these things bite you. Always. At any moment, any of these things could mutate and morph. And who knows, it may have happened several times already. And y'all willing to die for these things. You are out of your mind. And you're literally willing to die because you have them up in your home, ready to die at any moment. Up in your home, just waiting for it to kill one of your kids at any moment. Like a nutcase, like a true bona fide psychopath. You all are. You disagree? I know you all disagree. Listen, you are just different types of owners of the same dangerous dogs. You can show as many photos trying to make these things look innocent and harmless all you want. These are killers that are killing and attacking, mutilating more now than ever. No amount of photos and videos you show these mutts looking stupid, it's going to change that. Your low IQ approach to trying to prove that these things are harmless is beyond laughable. Like, we can't take you serious. That's why there are so many anti-dog platforms who just mock you. They just poke fun at you. You know, just out of fun, because they could actually get analytical with you at any moment. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see people degrade themselves like this and like purposely put forth all effort they can to degrading their very existence. It's unbelievable. Now, there are a lot of stories like this popping up where people are attacking dogs. This surfaced a few days ago. 2 days ago, a dog was found hacked to death in the backyard. There have been these killing sprees of dogs lately. How many of y'all heard about that or aware of this? It is as if there are serial dog killers out here. So they randomly find some dog that was hacked to death in the backyard, in someone's backyard. The officers were alerted to a report of a dog yelping. Right? They heard the dog screaming, and they were dispatched. Found the dog hacked in the backyard. Okay? There was another case where a man hung a dog from a tree and danced around its corpse in sort of like a ritualistic fashion. How many of y'all stumbled across this article? I know some of you are like, where do you find these stories? I have no idea. This surfaced 2 days ago. Man hung a dog from a tree and danced around the corpse. It was videotaped. What is going on here? Are there some little vigilante cults popping up? Anti-dog cults popping up that I don't know about? Listen, I don't have nothing to do with this. Don't try to put this stuff off on me. Nowhere will you find me telling people to go hatchet dogs or do any of this stuff. People are doing this on their own. Probably in response to the increase of attacks. Notice how attacks are on the rise fast. 81 people in 2021. That's according to some reports. That's crazy. That's like double the average. The average is like 40. So it's an all-time high right now. Now, I'm not going to show this video, but in this video, you can't see nothing. It does not even show nothing. Like you can see something, but it's like real faint. So it's not even worth watching. But man, what are you talking about? Maybe this man was drunk or on some serious drugs and this is an isolated incident. Or maybe the dog provoked him and he overreacted. Maybe the dog, attacked him. And that's how he reacted. You black out in moments of near-death experiences. Okay? So that's the temporary insanity that we hear about. People, it's crazy out here. Recently, There was a man accused of shooting a dog and killing a dog that entered his yard. This dog kept wandering onto his yard. So one day he shot it. After he shot it, it wasn't dead. So after he shot it, he walked up into the home of the dog owner. Follow me now. Shot this man's dog, kept wandering on to his property. Said, hey man, get your dog before I shoot it. Dumb dog nutter continued to let his dog wander onto other people's property. Man shot the dog, but the dog was not dead. So he walked up to the front porch of the dog owner and asked the owner, do you want me to kill it, to put it out of its misery so that it doesn't suffer? That's what he did, according to reports, people. Let me share a link to that story. I thought it was crazy. I thought somebody made that up. I said, what? Shot the dog. Listen, he warned him. Keep your dog off my property. A neighbor told police that she was in her front yard when she heard 5 or 6 gunshots in the area. Soon after, she saw Mays walking with a rifle in his hand. When she asked what he was doing, he told her, mind her business. Okay? He admitted that he fired a rifle and that he'd shot the dog. According to the affidavit, he told police that after he shot the dog, he went to the owner's home with his rifle and offered to euthanize the animal. He shot it and went to the owner's home and offered to euthanize it. What? Who is this? Who is behind this? Is this a content creator somewhere in disguise? Who would do such a thing? Wow. Okay. And this is recent. These are recent. This surfaced 2 days ago. What is going on? Y'all hear the, look at this. $1,000 reward for tips leading to the arrest and prosecution of the person or persons responsible, dogs being violently killed. When? Starting March 2023 to present. This surfaced 2 days ago. What? Where? Yakima County, Washington, Lower Valley. Multiple deceased dogs have been found throughout the Lower Valley in Yakima County. The injuries present are consistent with neglect and abuse. What? People, this is a dangerous game that people are playing with this. Because people like us, we're going to see this dog culture for what it is. Every time we turn around, there are reports of these crazy dog attacks. And some people are going to lose it. it's best not to invite something into your life like that at all. We don't need dogs. People act like they cannot be without dogs. They're man's best friend, and they must stay with us forever. And even if they can't mention a tangible benefit from it, they will hold dearly to that. No, we can never leave dogs. We can never part ways from dogs. Not even if it will cost us our very life. These people are crazy. That's irrefutable. I mean, what do you expect us to think about that? All you owners of large, vicious dogs, what do you expect people to think? Wouldn't you expect people to reach this conclusion that you're crazy, that you're a group of psychopaths? And the craziest part is that even after we explain to you how dangerous your lifestyle is, it doesn't change nothing. It doesn't even make a dent. So now people are losing their minds. And keep in mind, these are dog lovers. Most of these people killing these dogs, these are dog lovers. It's usually a dog lover doing something to a dog, like this lady. This surfaced, I think, recently, 2 days ago as well. April 21st. Okay, so just a little while ago, I had not heard about this. And I don't remember talking about it. But this was kind of crazy.
This local woman, who's also a dog trainer, is now in jail on the charge of animal abuse after Palm Beach County Animal Care and Control got a complaint from a dog breeder. The breeder also told officers he had video of the abuse. Steve King's live in Loxahatchee with new developments about this arrest. Steve?
Todd, well, the woman accused of animal cruelty, 21-year-old Blessing Knighton, says that she was doing what her former employer instructed her to do. Her former employer tells me that she's making all of that up, and that when he found out that she was abusing dogs on the job, he fired her and then gave video to authorities. Now, we have some of that video, and it is disturbing to watch.
Oh, wait a minute. We cannot watch that. Wait a minute. Oh, I stopped it right in time. Okay, let me escape out of here. I want you to hear what she said. Wait a minute.
Some other videos show instances where the dog has its neck tied to a pole up on its hind legs, and you can see Knighton hitting the dog as well. And the alleged abuse took place from late January and into February. Knighton told investigators that she was instructed to treat the dogs this way.
I believe her. She's 21. She's very young. This is one of her first jobs. I don't think she'd make that up.
By the company that hired her, Fine Line Family Canine in Loxahatchee. She also said the dogs were not fed enough and that the owner of the company was blackmailing her. Now, the owner of Fine Line Family Canine says Knighton made all of that up to retaliate against him for reporting her for animal abuse and sharing the videos with authorities, and is out on bond. I spoke with her earlier.
In that video, I saw somebody else in that video. There was someone else present.
Earlier, here's part of what she had to say.
Like, I'm not excusing myself. Like, there's a reason I left, because I was like, I shouldn't have done this. So I'm not excusing myself, but it's just important they don't see him as a hero.
But again, the owner of the company says he fired her and that she did not quit. He says in part, quote, "My dogs are the victims."
Oh, stop. This is not the first time we've seen or uncovered dogs being smacked around, being used, being hit, whether it's smacked, punched, kicked, in these training facilities. This is common to come out of these training businesses, because we all know it goes on. I don't know why everybody is trying to act like this is some unusual thing. We all know, we're fully aware that dogs are very violent creatures. These are violent creatures. And Caesar and everyone in the know knows. Everybody who used that alpha approach of training, they fully understand that dogs only understand aggressiveness, intimidation, and violence. That's the only thing dogs use to communicate. That's the not barking is a form of aggression. They use aggression, violence, and intimidation. That's the only way they communicate. When you try to communicate with them using emotion, compassion, physical affection, they ignore you. They look away. They ignore you. See, you don't get that. You don't get that physical affection from them. Only thing you get is aggression. And you're not confused about it. You don't mistake a dog's aggression for kindness. Huh?
Actions were shocking and led to her immediate termination. Fineline denies any wrongdoing, and the felony charges against her demonstrate the conclusion reached by Animal Care and Control. Now, right now, the conditions of the dogs that were abused.
Oh boy. I can't with this. What is it? Fine Lines K9? Something like that. Let me show y'all something. And I want to take my hat off to whoever this was. U.S. Postal Service. Look at what they did. Yeah, I saw this. Check this out.
31st Street in downtown Springfield is...
Whoa. Okay.
Back to you.
Whoa. Too much volume, sorry.
31st Street in downtown Springfield is on pause. Elizabeth Van Mitri joins us in our studio with why that service got cut off. Elizabeth?
Yeah, that entire block is no longer getting mail delivered to their homes. For some, it's just annoying, while others are unable to get medications or have missed important bills. Now, the postman's motto is neither rain nor snow nor sleet nor hail shall keep the postman from their appointed rounds. But Biscuit can.
We did nothing to deserve this.
This quiet street on South Market Avenue has a big problem. The mailman is no longer delivering mail. Neighbors like Stevan Jackson haven't got anything in the mail for more than a month.
It's causing a problem because I had 2 bills that was behind, and I didn't know it because I was waiting on the letters to come in the mail.
I know that this is a huge inconvenience for people that do not have a car.
And my insurance company said that they was
For people that do not have a car.
letters to come in the mail.
I know that this is
the dog they're talking about right here. You can see it's not on a leash. It's not inside of a fence. So when the mailman comes, this dog harasses them and attacks them. And these people expect the mailman to just take it.
It's a huge inconvenience for people that do not have a car.
And my insurance company said that.
And they're sitting up here complaining about how they are not getting their mail anymore. They're not complaining about the dog. They're just mad that they're on the dog's side.
It's causing a problem because I had 2 bills that was behind, and I didn't know it because I was waiting on the letters to come in the mail.
I know that this is a huge inconvenience for people that do not have a car.
And my insurance company said that they was going to hold my meds until we got the situation solved.
The big reason the mail service will no longer deliver on the street is rather small, at least in size.
See how they're trying to project the U.S. Postal Service as unreasonable. Oh, the problem is rather small. Oh, it's a small dog. You can just ignore it. Because you know how dog lovers love to release dogs on people. See, they want this to be like Turkey or India, where there are a bunch of dogs just running all over the place. And they want to force people to just accept it. Accept dogs running up to you. That's what they want. If that's what you want, why don't you move to those countries? You have the right to shoot a dog that's coming at you aggressively in most states. A dog this size can still bite you. And any size bite can be infected, get infected, and can kill you. The post office worker has a right to have a problem with this.
Meds until we got the situation solved.
The big reason the mail service will no longer deliver on the street is rather small, at least in size.
Vicious dog in our neighborhood.
Meet Biscuit. The postman here had a run-in with Biscuit a month ago. Neighbors say he's not a threat.
Somebody that obviously does not know Biscuit.
Neighbors say he's a sweet dog who loves scratches and barking.
The postman said that Biscuit was sick on him, so he pepper sprayed him.
The dog attacked him, so the post office worker pepper sprayed it.
This is something that is basically a city code that, animals need to be restrained and whatnot, but I think there was some overreaction.
So he acknowledges that they broke the law. But he says, but the post office worker overreacted by pepper spraying the dog. No, he underreacted. You lucky he didn't soccer kick that dog. Him pulling out pepper spray, trust me, he was restraining himself. He was restraining himself. He's trying to do it the right way. Trying to follow the protocol. He could have soccer kicked that dog. He didn't overreact. You and all of you overreacted by expecting him to accept it. And nobody speaking out against allowing this dog to roam free when the mailman comes through.
So he pepper sprayed him.
This is something that is basically a city code that, animals need to be restrained and whatnot, but I think there was some overreaction on probably the part of the carrier.
Mark Inglet, a spokesperson.
Overreaction on the part of the carrier. So they blame the carrier. The carrier protected him or herself from an attack. This is simply facts. An attack that could have led to the death of this carrier. You can't play around with infections. A dog of any size can bite you. And now he's being projected as the villain.
Person for the USPS spoke in general about their procedures.
Basically, our protocol is this: if there's a dog loose and there's any risk of a dog bite or injury to the carrier, we notify the owner.
Biscuit's owner, who declines an on-camera interview, said he did get a...
Declined an on-camera interview. Why? Because the owner is a dirt bag who deliberately allows his or her dog to roam freely. That's a dirtbag move. That's not friendly neighbor. That's not a good neighbor. Don't call me the bad guy for calling you a dirtbag. Stop acting like a dirtbag.
We notify the owner.
Biscuit's owner, who declines an on-camera interview, said he did get a letter, but he didn't realize the whole street would be impacted. Neighbors just don't understand. understand why the whole street is being punished because of this one small pooch.
Because none of you spoke out against it. You all allowed it.
The street is being punished because
you all participated in it. You all expected him to accept it. The common law, the unwritten law, is that people need to keep dog owners in check. That's what they're telling you with this. If you want your mail, you better tell your neighbors to control their flipping dogs. You know when your neighbor's dog is roaming the neighborhood, terrorizing the mailman. Tell your neighbors to control their dogs. And unfortunately, you have to tell them yourself. Usually. Sometimes you can call the animal control or the police, and they'll come out and issue a warning or something. I won't say that. Sometimes they'll issue a warning, but that usually doesn't work. It's unfortunate because if the dogs were not around, then the dog would not be the reason why you would collide with your neighbors. And dogs are a major reason of why neighbors have falling outs. Again, if there were no dogs, there would be no falling out. So there you go. That proves that dogs have a negative impact on human relations. And they do not help you to relax at all. Ever. You nutters.
Of this one small pooch.
Deliver right on next street, right here. We watch him deliver mail. He sits on the side of my house every lunch break, but he can't deliver my mail to my house.
Well, you should have told your neighbor to keep his dog in the house. So yeah, now you all have to suffer. So they're trying to put pressure onto entire communities. Don't tolerate a neighbor who lets his or her dog roam the neighborhood. It's too bad. These things shouldn't even be legal to own. The Humane Society is offering $5,000 $5,000 $5,000 to help catch suspects accused of neglecting a pit bull in King County. Look at the money they have to throw around. Yeah, I'm not going to show that. It's a video. We are up against some big players. And that's too bad for them. They need to segue into something else. Right? Y'all need to slide into rabbits. Some other pet to make up the majority of pets in the United States. I don't think this is going to last that much longer. It's too flawed. It's too flawed. Now, there are more of these crazy cases.
The Orange County Animal Services volunteer has been charged with cruelty to animals.
Joel Levine is accused of dragging a dog by its leash, and ultimately, the dog suffered injuries that required him to be put down. West 2's Haley Crumbleholm spoke with one of the witnesses who says they saw it all happen.
Hello, baby. Ruby Garcia says she and her sister were at Orange County Animal Services on November 16th to see this dog.
Oh, man. She called that dog a baby. That needs to stop. Don't you dare give these mutants such a title.
Sister were at Orange County Animal Services on November 16th to see this dog.
because she wants to pick out an early birthday present for her son. And so she's seen a dog, and she's seen one that she was interested in.
But the dog wouldn't make it home with them. Ultimately, Garcia and her family members would end up giving witness statements to the sheriff's office.
It looked healthy, it looked fine, it was just a puppy.
According to documents from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Joel Levine, a volunteer at the shelter, went to take a 15-week-old puppy out to the play yard. The documents say Levine put a slip lead around the dog's neck. It doesn't have a safety mechanism to limit how tight it can go. In Garcia's sworn statement to deputies, she said Levine was bringing the dog out for her and her family. She says the dog didn't seem like he wanted to go.
But the guy just went ahead and put the leash or rope or whatever you want to call it onto the dog and yanked them out. And then the dog just laid there like they didn't want to move, but he still pulled him out.
Garcia says they made it halfway to the play area.
The dog started bleeding from his mouth and it wouldn't move. It was just being dragged.
According to documents from the sheriff's department, the puppy went unconscious from the asphyxia being inflicted on it. But even so, the defendant continued on dragging the puppy's limp body by the leash.
It was very terrifying because you wouldn't expect that from an animal shelter.
Orange County Animal Service.
Of course you would. Because many of those people use aggression as a way to train the dogs. I don't know why. This is a part of their con, to project people who are rough, who use aggression, who are violent with dogs, to project them as unusual and strange. No, they're not. They're extremely common. They're probably the majority. It's very possible and likely, maybe even likely, that these people who only raise dogs with love are the minority. But they have this campaign going where they project those people, possibly the majority, as the lunatics. No. And to be honest, those people who use aggression, physical violence, they're only doing it because they know the dog, that's what the dog understands. Force, somebody showing it who's the boss. If you let it have its way, if you listen to Caesar and what he tells those people, he'll say to you, don't let it sit there. Oh, don't let it go over there. Don't let it lay on your couch. Tell it to get down. Be bossy, pushy, be aggressive. That's what dogs understand. And it reduces the chances that the dog will attack you. Maybe someone other than you inside the home who lives in the home. But strangers and everyone else are still free to get attacked. There's no way to raise a dog to be harmless. And they want to project the idea that there is. Just do it with love. No. And it's so manipulative because they're trying to project that through, demonizing the abusers as if, oh, look how horrible this is. This is why dogs are violent. No. A good chunk of dog attacks are coming from these dogs owned by these people who raise them with love.
Says declined to do an interview with us, but sent a statement saying in part a volunteer potentially mishandled a pet, resulting in severe injury. They say they take these incidents seriously and immediately reported it to law enforcement. The documents from the sheriff's department cite the veterinarian that treated the dog as saying the puppy's condition deteriorated and it couldn't breathe on its own. They said putting the dog down was necessary.
When she finally got the call that the dog had to be put down, she was really, really upset about that after that.
Okay. This is a dog lover. And it's always dog lovers, whether you want to accept it or not. These are dog lovers. You can't say they're less of a dog lover because they use aggression, which is just basically their way of training. It's an animal, quote, animal. They're not human. So you're supposed to deal with them differently. That's why they train them. You don't train people. Right? Train them not to attack. You don't do that with people. But people like this, who raise the dogs with love, their dogs always end up attacking people. And most often, they're the victims. They're the target. Crazy. But they're the main ones who virtue signal, who project this idea that, hey, we're the good dog owners. They try to use the idea that they're nonviolent with the dogs to project themselves as the good dog owners, as if we produce safe dogs. No, you don't. And that's all that matters. Whether or not it's likely to attack you is irrelevant. If it attacks you, that's on you. You are mainly at fault and a criminal when that dog attacks someone else. That's the problem. The problem I have with these people in my neighborhood with pit bulls is they will attack me or could attack me. If they attack you, I really don't care if they attack you personally. If it attacks anyone, it should be you. And not nobody in your home, in your family. So you're just as much of a terrorist to the community. Okay? And a good deal of these attacks are dogs that escaped their property and attacked someone who don't live in the home, or attacked someone who came inside the home. Or see, you raise them with love. That does not stop that dog from attacking your friends who come to visit. And a lot of times, Brooklyn Curry was a friend who came to visit. That happens all the time. So videos like this, arguments like this virtue signaling, it's meaningless. It carries no weight at all. Really at all. Now, I shared this not long ago. I don't think you're able to leave comments because it contains violence. Okay? But there are comments on the actual video. I guess you can leave comments. But what I wanted y'all to notice is how ineffective these people are at stopping this attack. Now, I can't show this. Wait a minute. Hopefully all of you have seen this. I'm going to share a link right now. And there are multiple adults. Okay? And they cannot stop the attack. Suddenly, grandma comes from off of the porch. I don't know. She looked like she's, I don't know, in her 60s maybe. There she is right there. And she jumps on one of the attacking pit bulls. And she tackles it. But the pit bull gets away. See how she's tackling it? She had a big burst of energy. Look. She laid on top of it. This is how people get killed. She's lucky that dog didn't latch onto her neck, because she totally exposed herself and her neck to that dog at that moment. The dog broke away from her. And she was, you see her laying on the ground. Look at that. She's totally vulnerable. That dog could have redirected its aggression onto her. So she failed to stop it. You got 3 adults unable to stop an attack. That's why I say supervision, it doesn't help. It doesn't keep anybody safe. And I understand behaviorists and dog trainers. I understand why you would not try to argue against me, being critical of the things that you say. It's ridiculous. Yeah, this was a little too much. I guess the dog is attacking a cat. 2 pit bulls are killing a cat, and they can't stop it. And this is what happens when you have 2 pit bulls attacking a child. They can't stop it. This is a perfect example of what happens inside of those homes when there's a child involved. These people are helpless and worthless. Even multiple adults, they can't stop the attack. You want to argue that these things are meant to be inside of homes with families? Clear violation of the law. Yeah, what good is the law? I mean, it's a good law. It makes sense. The reckless endangerment law makes sense if you followed it. That's the problem. Nobody follows it. Crazy stuff. I don't know, but I'm the bad guy, right? I got into this anti-dog thing as a hobby, just to have fun, to sort of kick back and relax. But then I was fascinated. I'm like, wow, people are under like a magical spell that they can't snap out of. And that's irrefutable because the dog's presence actually irrefutably threatens their life and well-being. And they take the chance anyway. That's something that's irrefutable. And there's no tangible benefit whatsoever. And this lie, all these lies surrounding these dogs, pathetic. Dogs being used to calm people down, to help people to relax, is a lie. I believe the only people, I've said this many times, who might become relaxed when they're rubbing on their dog is the owner of the dog, and that would have to be an extremely relaxed situation where the owner is relaxed and the dog is relaxed. Because ain't no hyperactive dog going to relax you. I don't even care if you're the owner. Try to tell me that's goofy. Nothing that's hyperactive is going to make me feel relaxed, dude. Even if it's my own dog. So I don't believe that at all. In no circumstance. I mean, it may as well be no circumstances. If you have to be the owner and both you and the dog have to be relaxed as you rub on it, that's the only time it will help relax you even more. That's basically never. So that's just a bunch of garbage. I don't care. Okay, get your machine, get your blood pressure tester, and let's test them. I want to see it with my own two eyes. I want to see people's blood pressure go down after a dog is brought into the room. I just don't believe that. They're talking about people who are not the owners of the dogs. That's the basis of brain therapy dogs in the hospitals and libraries all across the country, in schools. They're saying they will help relax you, help you to relax, relieve stress and anxiety. Okay, get your machines that are supposed to, prove that, because I don't believe it. So if this is all a con, which it is, that is ridiculous. Stuff like that, it should not go unchallenged. No. Nobody is relaxing when a big dog walks into the room. Who do you think you're talking to, man? Everybody should be offended by propaganda like that. They're using that argument to bring dogs around your kids without your permission. Think about that. That's like, what? If someone told me that, I wouldn't believe them. Like, no, stop. I would think that there would have to be permission granted, maybe even doctor records, like, hey, there might be some allergies. We have to make sure, your kid isn't allergic, because we don't want a lawsuit. We bring a dog into the classroom and your child has an asthma attack, maybe die. You can die from an asthma attack. Think about that. That's what I would think. Like, oh, you would have to get some type of certification, have to make sure the air quality is right, or have to make sure the dog is sanitized, shampooed, wiped down every 5 to 10 minutes as they did in that hospital, whatever. No, they can just bring a dog into the school without your permission. And basically force your kids to rub on these dogs. That's a little too much for me. And they're basing it on this idea that they help them. They're bringing these things to disaster areas. There was recently another shooting, right? Where was that? In Texas? All of these shootings across the country. And the first thing they want to do is send dogs down there, on the idea that the dogs help relieve stress and anxiety. That is ridiculous, man. Just an unnecessary bad influence. And the worst part is it's miseducation. Like, your behavior as an adult is really a form of education. By example, showing the young people how to function and navigate through the world, how to conduct themselves, how to compose themselves. Young people look up to older people as the people who know who understand the world a lot better than them. They're older. So we got to be careful about what we do, decisions we make. Could the next generation hold us up to scrutiny? Are we exposing ourselves to looking dumb by the subsequent generation? Okay, if we can spot that out, we need to patch that up. This dog culture is a little too embarrassing for me. Yeah, that's why, we have to keep talking about this until you start talking about it. They think they can just ignore us forever. You see, They figure, oh, no matter how much we talk, they're just going to continue to ignore us. I don't know about that. Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see about that, Nutters. We're going to have to deal with these mutants in the neighborhood. We're going to have to deal with this. There are too many, and the attacks are steady on the rise. That's why there needs to be some brakes pumped. Fast. All right. Oh, finally, I've made it just over an hour. Finally, I managed to get in a short live stream. Did y'all see this? Listen to this.
After 2 years of waiting, animal welfare advocates and family members watched and waited for Judge Davis to announce her sentencing decision for Elmer Givens. Givens was arrested in March of 2021 and charged with 74 counts of animal cruelty and 1 count of animal fighting. Givens pleaded guilty to 10 of those charges.
It was very disturbing.
Kirsten Gregory of Pasado Safe Haven has been watching the case develop and says it's vital that Givens be punished for the abuse of dozens of dogs.
Over 107 dogs that we know of were abused and neglected by him. Some were shot with BB guns, some were severely malnourished and emaciated. So, I mean, the level of seriousness of this crime against animals is pretty huge.
On counts 2 through 10. The prosecuting attorney recommended Givens serve 6 months in prison. And Givens' attorney argued that anything longer than that could severely impact his family. But given the nature of the crimes, the judge disagreed.
Reaching a sentence that is sufficient enough to...
After 2 years of...
Did y'all hear that? They said 6 months in prison was not long enough. Here, let me play that again.
6 months in prison, and Givens' attorney argued that anything longer than that could severely impact his family. But given the nature of the crimes, the judge disagreed.
Reaching a sentence that is sufficient enough to reach the desired effect and impress upon you the seriousness of your crime. That's from your attorney. I do not believe that 6 months is sufficient.
She went on to add another 4 months, which means Givens will serve a total of 10 months in prison. He'll then be placed on probation for the next 2 years.
I hope this sends a message that law enforcement, animal control, and...
So she gave him an extra few months in prison. But when the dog attacks, it's an accident. The dog didn't know what it was doing. Okay, nothing happens to the parent. Parent gets a GoFundMe and a bunch of attention, publicity. But boy, you do something to a dog, you go into prison. They're going to throw the book at you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And these are 2 totally different. Okay, yeah. This was one of the pit bulls that was found. So they tried to make an example out of him.
And our prosecutors and judges take these crimes very seriously, and be warned.
Take these crimes seriously and be warned. Be warned. Don't you touch our precious dogs. Right? We will punish you. But when the dogs attack our children, that's an accident. Oh, that's a mistake. We might put that dog down, but we'll get another one. Even though only dogs are doing things like that, attacking kids and babies, even though that's a dog thing, we'll get another one if we have to put that one down. But we'll try not to put that one down. That's an accident. Nobody gets punished. The child better behave. The child simply better be careful. Tiptoe around the dog. Don't move too fast. Be careful. If the child's attacked, right, most likely the child did something to the dog. Okay, dog lovers. Just examining your culture over here. You don't see anything wrong with that? Yeah, you're not ashamed to have this as your lifestyle? Now, this is on YouTube. And this is a recent story, if I'm not mistaken. Oh boy. Oh boy. This was uploaded 7 days ago. This is a recent story. Okay? I try not to bore people with old stories. Like, 99% of the stories are recent stories that I share here. So you already know that the comment section is full of dog lovers. Good for the judge, but 10 months is still too lenient. I don't think 10 months is enough. Not enough time. He deserves life. But when the dog attacks, the dog deserves a new home, a second chance. Oh, a second chance, rehabilitation. Oh, so sick. Ugh. What a disgusting. What a disgusting culture. You know, the filth is disturbing my sinuses. My computer doesn't even want to play the rest of this video, and I don't blame it. And I think that's a good time to end this live stream. My goodness, what a crazy world. Shout out to everybody able to join me on this live stream. And I hope to see you all back on the next as we continue with this crusade.